Yeah, there's absolutely no shortage of data points when it comes to social media. I mean, there are some important numbers to follow. It's also important not to get too hung up on them. But there's the obvious big ones, which are the followers or your likes on Facebook. These are important indicators. They're important numbers. They're showing how much your potential audience is. They are not, however, the end-all, be-all number, and it's really important not to get super caught up on what the number is itself. It's really useful to look at how those numbers trend. How many followers are you gaining a week? What kind of content is generating new followers and getting people more interested in you, rather than just looking at the straight number. Now, this is especially risky in Twitter, because when all you're looking at is that number and how many new followers did I get today. I mean, I've seen organizations with 10,000, they follow 10,000, they have 11,000 followers, and it's an outboard motor company from Upper Michigan that's following me. It's all robots following each other. It's not really meaningful interaction at that point, so it's really important not to get too caught up on those specific numbers, but the trends and the way that those numbers are changing can be really important, just for the Facebook and Twitter follower numbers. Facebook has recently changed their insights, and I mean, in 6 months it's probably going to be completely different again. It's going to be a completely different way to look at it, but it's gotten really useful recently, and it has a lot more information about what people are responding to, where you can really drill down and look at each post itself and seeing what people are responding to, what they're liking, what they're commenting, and what they're sharing. You can kind of get a broad look at that, and that's really important to get that kind of feedback and find out what people do want to see and use that information that way. Similarly, it's important to use, I'm a huge proponent of using URL shorteners and not just posting links into twitter.com, for instance, but being able to use a free bit.ly account, bit.ly. It's free. You should start one. And use those accounts for all of your shortening. Whenever you share a link, you go through that and you can see what people are responding to, where they're sharing it, what time of day seems to be working best. Is 2 a.m. working well? Is 5 p.m.? Is 7 a.m.? And there's a lot of information out about there about when are good times to share that. A great person to take a look at is Dan Zarella, Zarella, and he's done a lot of work on the science of timing and how to make sense out of the numbers that you're getting back.
Great. I hadn't heard of Dan before, so I'm going to check him out.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely. And he really drills down a lot on, and there's a lot of it is like what time of day, and I've done it where I looked at his numbers and then I looked at my numbers and I was like, oh, I guess he is completely accurate, because my numbers on a much smaller scale reflected what he was sharing. There's times of day,
Mm-hmm.
Don't be sending out tweets at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. No one's going to see them. Facebook messages are great on a Saturday morning. Everybody and I sitting around drinking coffee and looking at Facebook and seeing what's coming up for the weekend. It's a really good time to hit off hours and that sort of. And these are the information you can learn from looking at the numbers.